Hello, welcome to the Humanergy Leadership Podcast. I'm David Wheatley, and we're here to talk all things leadership. So, welcome to another episode of the Humanergy Leadership Podcast. I'm David Wheatley, and I want to talk to you about the idea of stay interviews today. A lot of organizations do exit interviews when people leave and they want to know why they left, and they have an interview to find out whether they were leaving for reasons that they could change. And I find that most exit interviews, because they're a lagging indicator, are fairly useless. They tell us stuff that we can't do anything about because it's too late to do anything about it. And so in recent years, stay interviews have become more popular. And the idea of a stay interview is to interview your people on a regular basis, perhaps twice a year, to see what would actually make them want to leave, so that you're proactively preventing that from happening, should you wish that to be the case. And there's a few rules that can really help with stay interviews to make sure that you're getting the most out of them and that they don't feel weird and funky and awkward. But I've got a lot of people who are doing these now a couple of times a year just to make sure that folks are staying on track. And the key thing in my mind is, with social media, things like LinkedIn, it will actually throw you job opportunities on a regular basis based on your resume and the needs of that job. And there's a thin line between saying yes and saying no. And if you're enjoying your job, things are going well, you've got no reason to say yes. So most of the time, you probably ignore all those job ideas that come up and that they throw at you. But what's that one or two things that move the needle across to the other side that say, I'm just going to open this and see what happens? And the moment you open it, there's quite often a rabbit trail of things that suck you in, because it can look enticing and better. And of course it's going to look better because they're trying to entice you to their organization. And so to prevent that from happening, the idea of stay interviews is to work out what you can do to prevent folks from going down that path and keep them engaged in what they're doing and supportive of the organization, fans of your organization that they're working in. So a few simple rules in our stay interview best practices. One of them is listening is about 80% of your job as a leader if you're hosting a stay interview. It's not about telling them anything. It's about listening and making sure you understand. That if there is any questions, it should be about probing to learn more about what they're saying. And I highly encourage, take lots of notes. So digest it and reflect on what it is that you're hearing from folks. And there's a few questions that I've found are helpful to kick you off. One of them is, what do you look forward to each day on your way to work? Now, this is a little old-fashioned because many of us, our way to work is moving from the bedroom to the office. But in the old days, when we had a commute that maybe was 30 minutes, 60 minutes or longer, what was it that excited us? But I think it can go even to, what is it that excites us in a morning about work, on our way to work? What is it that's exciting that we look forward to? And dig into that kind of question. Things like, give me an example. Tell me more about, what do you look forward to working with the most? Who do you look forward to working with the most? Those kind of questions that really start to dig into what is making employees excited about where they currently are. The second frame of questions is, what are you learning here and what do you want to learn? So are people growing? Are they being challenged? Are they looking at things that are attractive and interesting? Have they got the opportunity to grow and develop skills? Have they got the opportunity to grow and develop into new roles? What kind of roles would they be interested in? What do they see as their career path? And we're asking this question proactively because we don't want to find out that their career path was they wanted to be a vice president, so they took that vice president job that was offered to them. We want to know that now, and let's start talking to them about what might be useful, what steps they could take in order to evolve into that spot. Now, if they're ready for it and you don't have an opening, then it may be just that you know that they're going to be a flight risk. But if we can understand that, there may be some things that we can expand scope, get them excited, so that we go back to question one and they're suddenly looking forward to coming to work again, like energized about what they're going to be doing. So the third question is fairly simple. Why do you stay here? It's real simple, but why people stay when there's lots of opportunities, especially in the great resignation times of 2021, that is a great question to ask. And making sure that people take the time, because you really want to know why they stay here. What's important to people? What's important that makes them stay? Is there only one reason, or are there multiple reasons why people stay? What's the heart of it? Why do they keep coming to work for you? The more we know that, the more we can tap into that and make sure that we're not neglecting that area. And the last question is, when is the last time you thought about leaving us, and what prompted it? So, and again, we can expand on that. Tell me more about what happened. Who said what? What's the single best thing I can do to make that better for you? How important is that to you now on a scale of 1 to 10? So we can dig into some of those things to make sure that we're understanding what might make people leave. And did I say that was the last question? Because there's another one. The last question this time: what can I do to make your job better for you? What obstacles can I remove as your leader? What can I do to better support and engage you in the role that you're currently in? So the more I can ask those questions, the more I can understand about folks, the more likely they are to stay when I need them to stay. I'd like to thank Dick Finnegan for the Power of Stay interviews. And this is adapted from that, the second edition. And a lot of our thinking is adapted from that. I encourage you to seek that out, resource out, and find out more. But let me know. Try some stay interviews with people and see what kind of results you get. Are people surprised, excited, engaged? Does it re-energize them? I look forward to hearing. Thank you. You've been listening to the Humanergy Leadership Podcast. I'm David Wheatley, and we're brought to you by the book, What Great Teams Do Great, available now at all good bookstores. Thanks to Brian Spencer and Finkel for the music. Please share any feedback and suggestions. I'm available through humanergy.com. And go to iTunes, like, subscribe, and leave us a review so that other people can find us. In the meantime, until next time we meet, stay healthy.